Hey guys, it's me Adrian here with another video. Today I'm going to make a video about the Analogue Mega SG. I recently got one last week, so I want to talk about it, but it's not going to be quite an in-depth review or anything like that. I want to talk about my experience with it and what I think of it and just things like that. So yeah, I just want to point out that I will show game footage and stuff, but I'm going to have to film the television screen with the camera. I can't use any capturing software or anything like that for this video because it's all downstairs. I'm doing this video up here in the bedroom, and because this is where the Mega SG is going to stay. So yeah, I've made it for here in this video in this room. So yeah, so I've got my Mega SG here. Oh, I hope the light's not going to be a problem in this video, but there it is. Okay, I chose to get the European coloured one. So it's really nice in design. I like what it says on the side. Of course, it looks a bit silly connected to the Mega CD like that because it's so small. But yeah, I was surprised. You know, the package was so small, and let's see if I can open this box with one hand. Yeah, I'll give you your little receipt there, and they give you this little instruction manual on the system. They give you things like a HDMI cable, which I didn't use this one because it's too small. I went out and bought a 5-meter one, so I can go all the way around there to the television. But yeah, they give you a HDMI cable for 1080p. You've got your what is it? USB. That's right. They give you a USB cable for power out. I'm using a different one. And they give you the power adapter, of course, official one from Analogue, by using USB. I had to use a different one because this one's using the USA Japan fitting, and that doesn't work in my PowerPoint, so I went out and bought an Australian, USB adapter from JB Hi-Fi, and that works great. I checked the voltage to make sure it matches this. This is what, 5 volt 2A. The one I bought was 5 volt 2.4A. So yeah, so it's all right. It's compatible. It's not going to cook it. They also give you, when you buy the Mega SG, they give you a Master System adapter straight out of the box, which is good, but I hate the way this looks. I hate see-through things. I don't like it when it's see-through. It looks ugly. The other confusing thing about this is you don't know which way is the front or the back. You've got to sort of look for where it says MS adapter. So this is for playing your Master System games on the Mega SG. And it works. You know, when I first saw this, I thought, where the hell is the pause button? Because I didn't know that you can play Master System games on this by just pausing on the start button, like your Mega Drive games. I didn't know that because I'm so used to having to see, like this one. This one's an official one. This one's got the pause button on the device. You know, I'm so used to having to press that to pause, but you don't have to do that on the Analogue SG. You can pause straight off the controller for your Master System games, and I really like that. That is a big plus. So, let's move on, shall we? I suppose I'll put it on. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I can't just make the video like this. Whoops. I didn't boot that properly. Oh, wait a second. Where's my EverDrive cartridge? Yeah. Now I'm going to show you some things. I'm going to show you some games, of course, and little nitpicks and issues and things. But overall, it's a really good console. If this is like, this is for the purists, Mega Drive. This is for people like me that, you know, this is not like AT games, This is a real deal. This is like 99% all the way there, just about, you know. If you can save up money, I highly suggest you get one of these because it's worth it. You'll be happy with it. I only found really one issue with this console, and that is, out of all the games I tried, there was only one game that didn't seem to work at all, and that was Chuck Rock on the Mega CD. Not the Mega Drive version, it was the Mega CD version. The one I got here. This is a burnt one, but that doesn't matter. This was the only one that didn't seem to want to work. And I'm using the latest firmware upgrade. I'm using the 4.6 official firmware update from Analogue, from their website. I'm not using Smoke Monster's unofficial jailbreak firmware as of yet, because I've contacted Analogue about the Chuck Rock game not working, and they said they're going to look at it. They're going to get the FPGA engineer to have a look at it, and hopefully it'll be fixed in the next update. So yeah, I'm waiting till Chuck Rock gets fixed, and then I'll probably download Smoke Monster's jailbreak firmware. I've actually downloaded that firmware already. It's sitting in my PC. I just haven't put it in an SD card and dragged it over here to update it. But yeah, just going back to the console, it's powered by an FPGA chip inside. From my understanding, it's a Cyclone 5 FPGA, that's what it's called. FPGA, I forget what it stands for, but from my understanding, it's not software emulation, so it's not like AtGames or the Retron 5 or any of those. It's not an emulator. It's very close to real hardware. It's more like real hardware simulation rather than software emulation. Well, that's my gathering of it. The great news about this is it behaves exactly like an original Mega Drive system. And I mean, like, everything behaves exactly the same. Even the Sonic hacks that I've reviewed in past videos that, you know, don't work, they don't work on this either. And that's good. I'm actually glad it's the same hacks that don't work on this, because that, I didn't want them to be like, you know, emulators like Fusion and Gens X and all that, where some work on different emulators and some work on other emulators and some don't work. Here it's exactly the same as the Model 1 Mega Drive, and that's good. Going back to the hardware, what have you got? It gives you on the back, you've got your HDMI output, the 1080p, got your USB power out there. On the front you've got your two control ports. On the side, I don't know if you can see it in this light, there's a SD card hole there, but that's, you put your SD card in there, and at the moment it's just for firmware updates. So yeah, I've also got the 8-bit Do M30 wireless controllers, and these are the best controllers, hands down, I reckon. The D-pad in particular is very comfortable. I like it. Now, I'll just point out that I had to buy these controllers separately. I've got another one here. I got the controllers separately. See, that's the other one. So, yeah, this one I've opened. I haven't opened the other one yet. I bought two so me and my wife can, if we play two players, we can both use them without having the cord in the way. But I had to purchase these separately. All I purchased from Analogue was the Mega SG. It didn't come with any controllers. You had to pay separately for a controller. So I was under the influence that you get one controller with it, but you don't. So, I mean, they had a thing on their site where you can purchase the controller, but it took me straight to Amazon, and I thought, oh no, stuff this, I'm not going to go to Amazon, because I tried to start an account with Amazon a long time ago, and they wouldn't let me sign up for some reason. So I ended up getting these brand new from eBay. So let me just say, this console is not cheap. I'm not trying to make it put you off or in any way, but it's not cheap. What is it? It's retailing for $189 US. So over here in Australia, our Aussie dollar is quite weak at the moment. It's sitting at about 67, 68 cents. 67, 68 US cents, that is. So it takes up more of our money to make up the American dollar. So if it's 189, geez, plus shipping costs and GST on top of all that, because it was from out of the country, it's sat for me just over $400. That's a lot of money. And then, because I had to get 2 of these controllers, these were $35 each. So it was just under $500 in total I had to spend just to get it. A lot of you in America are probably thinking, whoa, that's a lot of money, but our wages are higher over here, so we get more money. But it honestly doesn't make much of a difference, because the price of everything over here in Australia is just so damn expensive. Having higher wages is just, honestly, it's nothing. That's our economy at the moment. So yeah, alright, enough about the hardware. Let's boot this thing up. What have we got? Well, that's the Mega CD. It does work with your Mega CD, as you can see there. Why haven't I got any bloody sound? Oh yeah, that's right. That feature in the thing, I haven't got it enabled. Anyway, I didn't want to start with that. I'll start with the EverDrive. This can play your EverDrive cards too, so that's a good thing. Boot that up. Okay, I'll just have it sitting on these mountains of games here. Trouble saying that. Oh, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to capture the video like this. It's a shitty way to do it, but so let's make some room here so I can sit on the bed. I'm in my bedroom, but if I didn't mention it earlier, and this is what the Mega SG, what I bought it for. I didn't buy it for downstairs. I'm still keeping the original Model 1 Mega Drive downstairs. So I'll still be making the complete soundtrack CD videos with that one downstairs. But this is my little fun toy up here in the bedroom, and this is the only HD smart TV that I own in the house. All the rest are CRT monitors, would you believe? This is a Sony HD smart TV from 2014. That's a pretty good television set. And I'm happy to say that the Mega SG works perfectly with this television, as it should. It's designed for, digital television sets, and it's good, it works. So yeah, I'm trying to catch my bearing here. So it works perfectly with this TV. I was worried at first because prior to getting the Mega SG, I had a SEGA Mega Drive, SEGA Mega Drive Model 2 up here, hooked up to that Mega CD, and that was it didn't look too good on this TV, as you would imagine. Using analog composite AV outs on a television like this doesn't look good. The colours are very washed out. You're getting a very grainy 480p, resolution, and it just doesn't look good. And you can imagine the Model 2 Mega Drive doesn't even sound good with all that horrible distortion through the mixing circuit. But now I don't have to worry, I've got a Mega SG. Now let's talk about the games and the compatibility and all this stuff. I chucked many games at the Mega SG and they all seem to work. That is except one. Chuck Rock on the Mega CD seemed to be the only game that didn't work as of yet. But that can be fixed in a future firmware update. Now, I'll have to say that the first game that I played, when I finally stopped fiddling with all the settings, because it's got hundreds of settings, I'll try and go through it as much as I can, you know, but forgive me if I leave some stuff out, because I'm just doing this off the top of my head, and I don't know how long this video is going to go for, so I'm sorry if it bores you a little bit, but you know, I'm not forcing you to watch it. The first game, when I finally, it took me about 3 days to stop fiddling with the settings and work out everything, how I liked it, how to have the visual settings and audio settings on the hardware settings, and after all that was settled, the first game I actually played when I settled down was, would you believe it, was Alex Kidd The Lost Stars. There, it was this one. Well, I hope you can hear that in the background. But I didn't play it with PSG, I played it with FM. So I'll just have to reset the game. Let's go back into it. It should be FM now. FM audio. Yeah, this is how I played it. See, this is one of my favourite games from my childhood, and I've got a lot of fond memories of this game, and I don't know, I just felt like playing it. The first game I played was this one. You can hear the audio is nice and loud. Well, enough of that. So, alright, let's go through the settings. Okay. This time around, I'm going to start with the audio settings. The Mega SG has got so many audio settings in it, it's not funny. And video settings and hardware settings and everything. Like, I'm not like most of you. I don't just go straight to the basic games, the ones everyone wants to play. I don't go to Streets of Rage or Gold Axe or... Believe it or not, I went to Lemmings when I went to muck around with the audio to see what I liked, how I wanted it to sound. You can make it sound exactly like a Mega Drive Model 1 or a Mega Drive Genesis Model 2. Whatever you fancy. Whatever tickles your fancy. Lemmings is one of my favourite games on the Master System and Mega Drive. So, yeah. So this is the one I went to. One of the songs I always like to test the FM out is always level 4 of Fun on this game. The Miners and Climbers song. So you've got all these audio settings. I'll just go into settings. We've got audio. You've got headphone settings, because I forgot to mention the Mega SG's got its own headphone jack. But the volume is located here in the audio settings. Doesn't have a volume slider. Channel levels. So here you can soften the audio levels, the FM and PSG channels, or you can make them louder or softer. So as you can hear now, like I can turn these all the way down. And it just leaves the bare PSG on its own. We're not going to have that, but I'm just showing you. And then you've got your PSG. This is good because all 4 channels are individual. You can, you know, lower them. You lower them too much, you've lost the PSG. The noise. And you can hear the hi-hat symbol there, the periodic noise hi-hat symbol. Too loud. Where did I have it on? 35? I have to remember to put all the settings back where they were. I always have, me personally, I always have the PSG noise channel a little bit higher than the PSG square waves. I don't like the square waves being so dominant. That's how I like it. 25, 25, 25, and noise 35, and the other 2 100. You've got your channel panning. You can move them around. I'm not going to though. Not with the YM2612. I'll show you that more later on a Master System game. How about I do that? Then you got an option here for 3 decibel output cut, which might softens the audio a little bit, the music. Enable cartridge and CD audio. That's so when you have your Mega CD, like I showed before, you didn't hear the boot music, but because I didn't have this enabled. Or you can have it automatically enabled. But I have it off because when you put it on, and I mean, of course I have the option on when I'm playing Mega CD games for the PC and CDA audio, but for PSG and FM of Mega Drive Master System games, I turn it off because it makes a bit of analog buzzing noises in the background, and I don't like hearing that. So I turn it off. And here you've got an option for, you can swap your left and right channels around. So I just leave it like that, how it originally is. Cartridge and CD audio volume is the PCM and yeah, CD audio of the Mega CD. I have it at 40. Then you've got advanced filter settings. Here with the low pass filter and cutoff frequency and roll off rate, I'm not going to fiddle with it because I like it the way it is. But for those of you that are really picky, you can make it sound exactly like a Model 2 Mega Drive Genesis or a Model 1 Mega Drive Genesis. You can make it emulate the YM3438 of the Model 2s, and then later ASIC based YM3438s or the original YM2612. And you can individually filter, disable and enable it for any one of these channels, so that's good. And then the ladder effect is quite interesting, and I'm glad they put it in here. The ladder effect is the quantization noise of the Model 1 Mega Drive Genesis. You remember they had, in the distance, you always hear like that little muffly sound? Well, here you've got a volume slider for it, which I have it always set to 5, so it replicates the original Model 1 sound exactly. And you can put it higher. I'll tell you what, why don't we get out of this song? I'm getting sick of hearing it. I'll go to this one. As you can hear, it's a bit, that goes up to 20. Or no, it actually goes higher. What am I saying? As you can see, it's on 31 now. It sounds way too muffly like this. If you can hear that, that is. It's too muffly. So I have it on 5. I'll get out of that game, actually. We'll go to a different game to continue this. Let's go to Dual Master. Oh, the audio settings. God, I'm still talking about the audio settings. Yeah, ladder effect. You can turn it off if you want. So you don't have any quantization noise, so it'll sound like a Model 2 Mega Drive Genesis. But to me, it's a bit too clean sounding, and it's too tight. Listen to those hi-hats, they're too tight. you need a bit of that dirty analog sound. So I put it on 5. I'd say 5, anywhere between 5 and 6 are good. 7's a bit too high. Anywhere here is too high. So I put it on 5. That's just me. Then you've got your YM2612 high quality mode. I leave that on. Here you've got an interesting feature about waveforms. You can make them sound like, you know, all these different sine waves and square waves. The FM synthesis, you know, weird. You can make sawtooth waves out of them and everything. But of course I'm going to leave it on normal, sine wave. And yeah. And I'll just point out, you can even, under settings, is it? System, hardware, and debug mode, you can disable the actual FM YM2612 channels if you really want to. Yeah, you can cut out the twang bass guitar, cut out the other synth, and you've just got the drums. We can take that out too if I want. Interesting note, this isn't using PSG periodic noise, it's using FM periodic noise, this game. Which channel is it for? See, hi-hat cymbals. Disable PCM audio, so the drums are gone. You've got the hi-hat cymbals still. So yeah, you can do that if you really want to. You've got all these options available, so it's fun messing around with it. You've got this YM3438 busy behaviour, because I think there was 1 or 2 games that played music slower on the later ASIC based Model 2 YM3438 sound chips. I think one was Hellfire. Played the music back slower, whereas the original 2612 it played it faster. So yeah, let me get out of this game. Okay, master system. Where is Lemmings? The master system version of Lemmings now I'm talking about. Geez, I've got to wrap this up. This video is going to go too long. Just put the cheating there. Now I've put this on for a very important reason. I'm gonna just continue mucking around with the audio here. Now I just want to say right off the bat that the Mega SG sounds really, the PSG from the Master System games sound really good. Not so tight like on the original Mega Drive. So it actually sounds they actually sound a little bit better on this. Audio. Back to the channel levels. You get different options depending on whether you play Master System games or Mega Drive games. Now I'm playing Master System games, they've got different options here. Well, they're the same, but there's the FM part of it's all gone. And you can see they're all at different levels. I've got all the squares at 80 and I got the noise at 100 because I like the noise channel to be a little bit more dominant. If I can lower it, of course. There you go, now it sounds just like Keyger Fusion, because it always had the noise channel really soft. I hate that, I want it loud. You can turn these down. Now this is interesting, I'm going to point out that on one of my videos I made once, when I was talking about comparing PSG audio using a real Master System, a Mega Drive with a Master System converter and a PC emulator. I said that the noise channel can sometimes do bass, and that's what it's doing here. You can hear that sawtooth wave. It's sharing with that snare drum. That's what it's doing. Because someone said, oh no, only the square wave channels can make bass. And I'm like, well, no, not exactly. Some games do use the noise channel to make bass by muting square wave 3. Square wave 3 is actually in use here. It's doing the bass drum. So if I turn the noise down, you will hear that? It's going with the snare drum, the white noise, because the sawtooth wave, what's happening is the sawtooth wave, which is doing that bass sound, that's muting square wave 3. But the snare drum, the white noise snare drum is working in between the bass notes. So for a split second, when white noise is enabled, square wave 3 is enabled. It's only that bass that's cutting out square wave 3. So for a split second, you're getting the square wave 3 to make a sound, and that's what it's doing. It's doing the bass drum with the white noise snare drum at the same time. Very, very clever, Matt Furness. You're a very, very clever man. Shit, I better not leave it like this, eh? I just wanted to point that out. Oh, I didn't want it on 100. I'll put it back on 80. 80. Like I'm a little bit weak. Whoops! And then of course you got your channel panning. You can, for the first time, you can actually play your Master System games in stereo. You can hard pan your square wave, to one side or the other. Whatever way you like, In the old days it was just a Game Gear that could produce stereo. Oh, this can do it all the time. So that's quite interesting. But I'm going to leave everything how I've originally got it. Everything else is pretty much the same. Got your advanced filter settings and blah blah blah. Everything's the same there. I'll just get out of this. Interesting is when you go to run cartridge, it's a soft reset. Actually, no, it's a hard reset or soft reset. Anyway, it's a reset, so you don't have to get up and press the reset button. So that's interesting. Now, I didn't really talk about the visuals yet. Maybe I'll just do that quickly. We'll use Sonic 1. You've got all these options to change the height, get rid of borders and stuff. So it's quite interesting. Let's see, video resolution. I've got it set to 1080p 50, but you can have 1080p 60. I don't want to change any of this. I'm just showing you. Then you've got width and height. You can crop out borders and mask borders, which is really good especially for Master System games, because they had bigger borders than Mega Drive Genesis games. I don't want to touch any of this though, because I've got it set to how I like it. And then you've got scalers. I got it set to HQ2 because I like that smoothness. But you can take that off, and then it'll look a bit rougher. This is how most people like it, but I don't. I like it with that smoother look like that. Then you've got, you can X-ray it if you want. You've got all these other modes here, interpolation, but I don't fiddle with them. I just leave it like the way I got it. Scan lines, you can put scan lines like a real CRT monitor, but I don't do that. So I've put no scan lines. Extra features, mask, top and bottom borders, yes, I've done that. Do the blending, buffer mode, I've got it on 0 delay, of course. Color, you can mess around with the gamma effect and the colors, but I don't want to change that. DAC mode. Advanced mode. Oh, I shouldn't have turned that off. And then yeah, so that's pretty much all your video settings. I'm not going to really go into too much about that. Now let's go into the hardware settings. Now this is where it gets interesting. Menu options, well, this is all about the title when you boot up the system. Oh, and of course the font here, you can change it. You don't have to have it like this. You can... Actually, I might just change it here. Why don't we put it on... I'll put it on blue. Font, you can change the font of this. I don't want to mess with it though. Menu bounce, I don't want that. Dim game in menu, so you don't have to have it like that. You've got options for your LED light. There's a LED light on the Mega SG, you can fiddle around with that. What I really want to talk about was hardware options now. Yeah, I've got it set to, because I'm in a power region, so I keep it on power export. I can change it. I can put it on NTSC domestic or NTSC export USA. But of course it screws the action up. I'll have to exit the game and go back into it because you can't play it at 60 Hz like that. When every time you change the refresh rate, you've got to do it when the game isn't booted. This is how everybody likes to play this game, except me. I don't like playing it like this. Now, there's a bit of a judder up because I didn't set it to 1080p 60. I've got it set to 1080p 50. But I don't really care because I'm not really going to play it like this. I'm just showing you. This, it supports... It supports 50 Hz and 60 Hz. And what you've got is NTSC export is the USA Genesis setting. Japan NTSC domestic is NTSC Japan, of course. Power regions, that's the setting that we have, what we're used to in Europe, UK and Australia. Power Extra, I think, is, it's true what it says here, it's not normally used. It's the power mode, but with the Japanese language mode. So when you boot up Streets of Rage 2, for example, it's got Japanese text. I'll show you if you like. I think it'll come up in Japanese, the text. See? And it'll read bare knuckle too. Because the hardware, I've put it on power domestic. If I keep it on power export, you get power 50 Hz, but with English mode. That's what it does. Auto region detection, yeah, but I don't like that. I like to do it myself. Force 3 button mode, that's good for games like Golden Axe 2, that glitch. If you've used the 6 button mode and you don't know how to disable it by using the mode button. So yeah, there's so many features here. I can't talk about everything. It's just too much for my brain here. But now I'll just talk about compatibility, I suppose. Now, this is interesting. This is something I found out last night with my Mega EverDrive X7, which is what I've got running on the system right now. For the most part, it's pretty good. But I ran a diagnostic test on the EverDrive, and it reads an error when it gets to hardware mega key. It reads an error. Now, let me point out that this error does not happen on the original Mega Drive Model 1 downstairs. See, it says error. The mega key test fails. Now, this doesn't happen on the Model 1 Mega Drive downstairs, so I'm not going to do anything about it. I think what it is, from reading forums last night, is it's because the Mega SG, the Mega EverDrive is detecting that even though the Mega SG is so close to the real thing, it can still detect that it's a clone machine. And the Mega Key apparently only works on the original system. It doesn't work properly on clone systems. That means for games like, let's use Columns 3 as an example. Columns 3 is a Genesis ROM. See, it says US NTSC. So I've got it in PAL mode. So even though I've got the Mega Key on, it won't work. See, it says developed for use only with NTSC and Genesis systems. So how would I bypass that? I'd have to use the Mega SG's settings. I'd have to literally go to system, go to hardware, and change this to NTSC, and then exit the game. I have to exit it through the run cartridge menu, boot it up again. Now it'll work. So what I can now do, if I don't want to play it in 60 Hz, because I'm used to playing it in 50 Hz, even though it's a Genesis ROM, switch it back. This is how I'm used to it. So yeah. But you know what I've discovered? Let's go back into it. And I've got the Mega Key set on, by the way, and it's still not booting. So what I have to do is what I've actually done, because I've played this before on the Mega Drive downstairs, I've created save features. So if I just press down and start, it'll still bring up the save menu, and I load state, I instantly can bypass that. See, it takes me straight up to the last level on hard mode, and I didn't even have to bypass that stupid region lockout message by changing the region setting to USA. Just kept it in PAL then, because of the save state. But that doesn't work for all games. Like, for example, Streets of Rage 2, let's just use the Street Fighter 2 edition hack here. It reads this stupid message again, region lockout. There we go. It's blocked. It won't work in PAL 50 Hz. So but I did the same thing. I bypassed it by loading a save state. The music is just way too fast here. I know it's not meant to be like this. This is 50 Hz, by the way. So yeah. If I change it here, it crashes the game. I gotta put it back. But yeah, we'll go back into it. I'll put it on NTSC export. Now I've got to actually get out of here and do it again. I just want to show you, that's all. Okay. Now it'll play as it was intended. So for these Streets of Rage 2 hacks, I may have to play it in 60 Hz. The music's normal. See, if I change it now back to 50 Hz, it stuffs it up. Why does the music go crazy like that? You think it would be slower. But anyway, that's what I have to do with some of them. It's only the games that have hard system region lockout in them. The ones that have soft region lockouts, the Mega Key still works. So, for instance, I'll use a soft region example of a soft region lock setting is something like Super Street Fighter 2. I use the Pyron's Clear PCM and Color Hack. This will work because it's not a hard region lock setting. The music's slower, that's all. Change it, of course, speed it up. Got a bit of artifacting there on the top because you're not supposed to change the region while the game's booted on, as I keep saying, but that's what I've done. Some games you get these little inconsistencies. I'm going to put it back where it was. That artifacting is gone. But anyway. Yes, that's all I wanted to say about that. And your Master System games, for the most part, they work great. I don't have an issue with any of them. Especially since I've updated the firmware. Oh, I love this. I love this because you can pause on the controller. No longer do I have to get off the lounge, get off my ass and walk all the way to the console and press the pause button. I can do it straight on this, see? I love that. That's a big plus. Big plus. We've got Sonic the Hedgehog. Normal speed, the way I'm used to it. This is funny. Fast, slow. fast, slow. Yeah, interesting. Okay, enough of that. Now, I'll show you, lastly I'll just show you some Master System games running on here. Actual Master System games, not using the EverDrive this time. Turn that off. Take it out. Okay guys, I made a video a while back on why certain Master System games give you a hell of a time trying to get them to boot on the Mega Drive using the Master System converter or power base converter. And what I did in that video was, if you haven't watched it, I'll just tell you, because the Mega Drive is got to boot, it boots straight into Master System compatibility mode, and that is why some of these games have an issue starting up straight away. And it's these four in particular that, for me, with my personal history, these four have always given me a hard time trying to get them going. And thankfully, I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to do the cartridge trick where, to fix it, you had to I had to always use literally Sonic the Hedgehog. Let's boot it up, and then pull the cartridge out while the power's still on, so it would crash and freeze and be stuck on the screen, and then you quickly insert one of these other cartridges and press the reset button, and then the game would start. That was the only way to get around it. But I don't have to do that with this. Look, I've got Tom and Jerry on top of the Master System converter, and I'm happy to say it works perfectly. I'll just try some other ones. Okay, I've got the soccer game in there. Let's try this one. Perfect. No issues. Okay, who remembers when I booted up Shadow Dance and the game just went glitched out completely? You kept hearing the voice sample, the one soy SSS, one soy SSS, one soy. That's all it did over and over again on a black screen. Doesn't happen now. I don't even have to do that little trick. Come on, I want to see the dog bark. Yep. There you go. Good. And last but not least, I got Dragon Crystal. Dragon Crystal at one point never used to boot. So we'll try it now. Yep, it works. See? No problem with any Master System game anymore. Because some Master System games don't like it when you have, on the original system, that is, the original Mega Drive Genesis, they don't like it when you have it attached to the Mega CD. They glitch out, or they don't boot, for whatever reason. So you either got to disattach it, or pull out the power at the back. So, but with this, because I've updated it with Analogue's latest firmware, 4.6, and they've made it so you no longer have to worry about any compatibility issues with the Master System. They all boot just fine. So that's good. So there's no more problems. I don't have to take anything apart or plug out anything. I'm going to try one last game, then I'm going to stop the video because it's getting way too long. I'm just going to try one Mega CD game. I can assure you, every other Mega CD game works on this except Chuck Rock. I've tried like quite a few of them. I tried the Terminator, I tried Night Trap, Sonic CD, Sonic Mega Mix. They all work fine. But this one just didn't want to boot. I mean, it did boot, but it wouldn't start. That's what I meant to say. So I'm just going to put it there for a sec. Okay, this is what happens when you boot. This is what happens when you boot Chuck Rock. It's the only game that doesn't work. I'll go into CD-ROM. I'm hoping Analogue fix this issue in the next firmware update, because it really bugs me, because it's one of my favourite games. The core design games on the Mega CD are much better than what they are on the Mega Drive. The games are just bigger, the levels, the worlds are bigger, the music for the most part is better. So it looks like it's going to start. You get all these developing and publisher screens, they're nothing. It just doesn't work. See?
Birds were singing, weather was fine. Chuck Rock settled down, waiting for the rock games to
You
start.
should be seeing the animated intro to the game. You can hear the audio from the intro, but it just doesn't show it on the screen, and you can't press start to skip it or anything. And as soon as this track finishes, it just hangs on a black screen.
A shadowy figure is lurking in the bushes outside. Gadzooks, it's Gary Gritter, the local weirdo in them there bushes.
Yeah, so that's pretty much that. God, there's a lot of other things I would have liked to have covered in this video, but I have to stop it. It's just getting too damn long. I might have to put timestamps in this video. So yeah, I mean, that's just don't let this throw you off at all. I'm buying one of these. That is the only game out of every single game that I've come across that does not work. It's a Mega CD game. As far as I know, all Mega Drive Master System games are working fine. It's all the other Mega CD games I tried, like I tried Sonic CD. I mean, I could show you, but it works. It works fine. Everything works fine. It's just Chuck Rock. Final Fight works too. Final Fight CD, everything works. It's just Chuck Rock on the Mega CD. So hopefully that'll be fixed in a future firmware update. Once that gets fixed, then I'll probably probably after that I'll start using the jailbroken Smoke Monster firmware. But I'll just keep that on the back burner for now. So yeah, it's a great system. I highly recommend it. Trust me, I highly recommend it. If you're a purist enthusiast like me, then it's for you. You know, it doesn't matter what region you live in. If you live in the power region or you live in an NTC region, you just set the console to whatever region you own the most cartridges of, or whatever region you're in. You know, I'm in a power region. I'm used to running my games in PAL, so that's what I'm going to stick to. But I love the option for 60 Hz, even though I will hardly ever use it. I'm glad it's there. I'm in a minority. I'm on the other side of the fence. I like to play them in 50 Hz and not so much 60 Hz, but the option should always be there for either setting, you know. So that's it, guys. I'm gonna have to stop the video. I've left out a lot of things, but like I said, I wasn't planning on reviewing every single thing. I just wanted to talk about it and what my experiences was. So it's really just out of compatibility with games, it's just Chuck Rock on the Mega CD, SEGA-CD, whatever you want to call it. And if you've got a Mega EverDrive X7, I don't know about X5 or X3, but X7, everything works, save states works, everything works. It's just the hardware Mega Key just doesn't seem to work properly. And it's because it's a clone system. It's not an original system. It can detect that its innards are not the original system. Because like I said, the hardware Mega Key works on all my other Mega Drives, it just doesn't work on this. So that's it, guys. I'll stop it here. If you have any questions or anything, you know, feel free to comment. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll catch you later. Bye now.